Hey guys, James and Eddie 532 here. Today we're taking a look at some more customs. If you've seen the last video, which was the 2022 update video, can't believe it's 2022 already. Oh my gosh. But you've seen that there will likely be less videos and less, I don't know the word, but more stories and less custom showcases. Well, recently I've been doing a rather good job keeping up assignments and stuff. I'm doing better in school. And so today I had a little bit of extra time, so I'm deciding to film. Yeah. Now, you may be saying, what are you doing? Why are you destroying every single Thomas and Percy you've ever built? I'm not, for one thing. And for two, Thomas and Percy are engines who I am very touchy about their shape. Like, Thomas, it is so easy to get him wrong. And just because, his shape is something iconic, especially if you're going for TV series, but Railway series, I would say it's still sort of iconic, especially among the eras of Illustrator in the Railway series. It's very easy to get Dolby Thomas. You can get that right, no problem. But Peter Edwards, I think it was, the person who illustrated Charmway engines, it's easy to get his Thomas wrong. Same thing with Percy. You can get TV series Percy right or wrong, Railway series Percy. It's a little bit easier for Railway series Percy, but yeah. It is very difficult to get these two shapes exactly what you're envisioning in your head. And before, they just weren't what I was envisioning. The old Thomas and Percy. Let me grab them over here. The old Thomas and Percy shells. This doesn't look like any sort of Thomas I've seen. I mean, I like the tall funnel. I mean, there are aspects about this guy I really like. Like how straight the footplate is, how tall the funnel is, and all that. The lining is pretty good. I like this Thomas. It's just not the Thomas I envision when I think of Thomas the Tank Engine. This Percy. Yes, this is a great Percy. I love this shell. This shell is one of my favorites. This is a great saddle tank engine. But it's not Percy. Percy, I've always imagined having a bigger tank. This part around here holds the water cap and the dome. Yeah, I've always imagined him having a bigger one. And he's still rather long. Yeah. This is closer to a pug than anything. I mean, it's not a pug. You know the bassist Smokey Joe? Yeah, it's close to that. These two are much closer to what I envision in my head when I talk the stories. When I'm writing the stories, this is what I see. I see a rather small Percy with larger buffers and a huge tank. Then I see Thomas with the curved footplate in the front, with the bigger tanks. He's just generally a little larger. Now, I'm going to show them off one by one here. Let's start with Thomas here. I'm much more proud of Thomas. Not that I'm not proud of Percy, just Thomas I'm a lot happy with. I'm excited about him. Now, you might be saying, hey, I thought you hated Thomas as an E2. And I hate his functionality as an E2. The look of him as an E2, that works fine. I'm not bothered by it. And the scaling, yeah, it's a little weird. I'll admit that. But I found a way to work around that, which I'll get to when I show him off next to other engines. But outside of the functionality, and yeah, the functionality is really my issue here. If the E2s were good locomotives, I'd be fine with Thomas as an E2. That's why I always think he's some sort of hybrid engine, and one of the E2s were built and sacrificed for the hybrid engine to be improved. Sorry, ignore that noise. That's my cat in the background. Yeah, that. Shut up. Okay, sorry. Don't worry, he's fine. Yeah. Thomas uses the same chassis from the other Thomases, but just a different shell, really. This main section here, if I remove the chassis, come on, yeah, there we go. The inner part here uses the first generation Railway Series Thomas that I built and showed you guys forever ago, back when I showed off James. Yeah, that uses that base, uses that shell as a base. And then I sort of expanded on it, because that shell, it was a good shape, but it wasn't very smooth and not quite what I was looking for. So I decided, okay, well, let's just go over it with softer cardboard so I can extend the tanks and make the cab and the tanks one sort of flat surface. So I did that on both sides. And then the boiler by this time was just gone, so I replaced it. The dome, of course, on it. The footplate was something that I didn't necessarily struggle with, but it was something I wanted to get right. As I didn't want Thomas to have that curved, slumped over look to the footplate as much as I wanted it to have like a dip. So I think I accomplished that well, and it's nice and smooth too, which is even better. I didn't include the wheel arch just because I think I was trying to make Thomas look as close to an E2 without actually making him a perfectly accurate E2. So I didn't include the wheel arch, which I think was a good choice. Because not only is it not needed, but Thomas is still small without it. If I can put the chassis on correctly, that always helps, you know? And the face fell off. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I think I accomplished that well. Because, it's still in the running board, but there's a hole where it should be, and then it's covered on top. Yeah. The shaping wasn't terribly difficult, which, thank gosh. The lining, however, was a totally different story. I lined him the exact same way I lined this guy, with tape. I painted it a little bit darker red, so when I put Mod Podge over it, it showed a little bit darker red. So it wasn't pink, almost red. It's red, which I like a lot better on this one. I cut out strips of it. After I painted it red, the tape, I cut out strips of it, and then I stuck it on. Now, things were all going fine and dandy. I even did that with the cab, so that's the cab jello, and it's all pretty straight. I like it. It was all going fine and dandy until this part, and then that part. And then I had to do the boiler lining, and then this part. To where I had to apply Mod Podge and the tape at the same time. Okay, that's done. Now I had to do the number, which instead of just painting it on the yellow like I did everyone else, I experimented I took a hunk of the red tape. I used a gold paint pen, this gold paint pen here, and scribbled on a 1 and then cut it out, which I like a lot more than just the painted one, because the painted ones take forever, and I can sometimes get them wrong. And yeah, I just don't like them. So I'm happy I did the tape instead. The back windows are also tape. I did the same method for the yellow around his cab and the windows, except I cut circles for the windows. Yeah. The front too. That's why they're so perfect. Come on. There you go. The whistle is just 2 toothpicks. Cut. Yeah. Thomas, you may be thinking, well, okay, he looks good, but how does he scale to everyone? Because you said E2s are rather large. Well, Thomas, if I put the thing here straight here, the turntable, which I hope you guys are liking the new set. I really like it. I gotta put the walls up, though. Yeah, next to Gordon here. Gordon, for the most part, still looks larger than Thomas, which was my first worry when building this model. Like, I thought, do I have to build a smaller Thomas too? And I might still do that, just so I can get every variation of Thomas that I like. So I can have small Thomas, big Thomas, J50 Thomas, all that. Wait, what? I didn't say J50 Thomas. I didn't know what you're talking about. Yeah. So, he's smaller than Gordon, which I like. I was worried about that tremendously. But Gordon still towers over Thomas, even if he's not teeny tiny. Thomas, even next to someone who isn't as large as Gordon, like Rosie back here, let's get Rosie next to Thomas. They're still moderately the same size, which, again, is perfect. Because Thomas isn't supposed to be humongous. He's supposed to be a... The E2s in this universe aren't as big as they would be in real life, clearly. Or Thomas is either that or he's sacrificed. Yeah. When building Thomas, the slope here in the front was a bit too long. So I chopped that down and then put the buffer beam up and put tape around it. And I'm surprised it's still as smooth as it is. I like it. Yeah. That's Thomas. Next up is Percy. I'm also really proud of Percy. Just because he's so cute now. Before, yeah, he was cute here, of course, because he was small and teeny tiny. But now he's even cuter. I think just the fact that Percy's face is just surrounded by everything else. Like his tanks and then also his toolboxes on the front. Yeah, and then he also has that tall funnel. Makes his face look super tiny and I love it. I think that's why Percy is so cute. His tanks are really humongous. That's exactly what I was going for. The cylinders, you'll see there's like a little red square with the green. Yeah. I think on this side, it didn't come out as good, but I still like it. Yeah, I used a different method on this side from this side. Yeah. Again, his coupling rods are that white sheet of cardboard cut out like that. I mean, I'm fine with it. I like it. I mean, I'd rather have that than no side rods, period, like Edward, which I gotta fix that. His cab. His cab was about the same size as everyone else's, of course. His windows are painted on, unfortunately. But then I made the tank, right? The tank, I think... Is it taller? No, it's like exactly the same size as the cab. Because the tank, I don't think you realize this, the tank is glued on to the footplate. It is the same height as the cab all the way around. I find that funny. I went through a different method for making the water filler cap hugely 3D. Because I didn't know there was a filler cap. I just thought it was a dome they decided not to paint. But no, it's a filler cap. How stupid could I be? I just cut out a small circle, glued it on. It's still 3D, of course. But it's just not as 3D as past Percy's. Yeah. His dome is just a dip of hot glue, which works perfectly for most engines, and I like that. His tanks themselves were just soft cardboard wrapped in a circle very carefully. So I wouldn't have bends and stuff. No, it's just smooth surface. The stripes were done the same way I did Thomas's. I love how big Percy's cab window is. That's really cool to me. Yeah. The chassis, I'm saying way too much. The chassis is the same chassis I used for this Percy and the Percy beforehand. I don't think I'm going to be changing this guy anytime soon. I might touch up the face a little bit. I got a little green on there. That's no big deal. I said it again. I don't think I'm changing this guy anytime soon. Oh, his 6 was painted. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of been Thomas and Percy. Oh, wait, you want to see Percy next to other engines, like Percy here, next to Gordon. Gordon's still humongous, but Percy looks like he should be bigger, but he's not. like, they're at the same length here. He looks... Percy's angled upward. I don't know why, but his chassis won't stay down farther like this. So he's angled upwards, but he's still much smaller than Gordon, which is a great thing. Everybody should be smaller than Gordon. Because if they're smaller than Gordon, they're much smaller than Murdoch. Rosie here, yes, still humongous compared to Percy. Because Percy is the small engine. No, Bill and Ben. I have no problem with this. This still looks like Percy may be a little too small now, but no. He and Bill and Ben pair up good. Yeah, that's really all I have to say on Percy. And as well as Thomas. Now, I have to let you guys on. And I have to ask you a bit of a question. How would you guys think if I went back and updated the other engines too? Like Gordon here, of course. I've been thinking of updating James. Gordon here, I don't think he's long enough. Because upcoming customs will show you that Gordon isn't quite long. And quite frankly, neither is Henry. But yeah, James is longer than Gordon and Henry, actually. Speaking of James, I've also wanted to give him a bit of a touch-up, repaint, because the red, or the blue that I used to line him forever ago, isn't very good. And his firebox, I've seen this, somebody did this, and I want to try it myself now, is I want to give James a thinner firebox. Like, perhaps give him the dips in the middle here, or just cut it thin. So it's perpendicularly flat to the boiler. So where the sides are like touching the boiler, just a little bit out. You understand what I'm saying here? Yeah. And also the front of him isn't quite smooth. I don't like it. And I might even repaint him to the same color I used for everyone else's lining, or Thomas and Percy's lining, rather. Because that's still a bright red, wouldn't you say? I would say this is bright red, still. And it's not the same red as Rosie here. I don't think. I don't think it looks like the same red. And it's certainly not the same red as Murdoch. So, I might. I don't know. Leave your comments if you think I should. Anyway, guys, that has been Updated RWS Series Thomas and Percy. Thank you for watching.